Okay, so we have another special guest coming to the stage in a minute. So I want to wind it back a minute and kind of tell the story about how this happened. My friend Brad Douglas, who is at SCE, Sony Computer Entertainment, he sent me a message one day telling me that I should talk to John Baez from The Behemoth. If you don't know The Behemoth, The Behemoth is responsible for games like Alien Hominid, Castle Crashers, and Battle Block Theater. And they've been independent and in existence since 2003. So, of course, I was very excited to meet with Mr. Baez. And I finally got a chance to do so at Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle last year. So after a robust 2-hour conversation, we really hit it off, and John told me he wanted to support BitSummit and Japanese indie game developers. So it's because of the Behemoth that we were able to create an event like this and make it possible. So I'd like to introduce and welcome to the stage the producer, founder of the Behemoth, and a big supporter of Japanese indie game development, an all-around cool guy, John Baez.
お次はベヒモスのジョン・バエズさんにお話をいただきます。ベヒモスは2003年の、インディペンデントスタジオとして2003年に設立して以来、キャッスル・クラッシャーズ、エイリアン・ホミニット、バトルブロックシアターなどでおなじみのタイトルを発売し、大きな成功を収めております。で、今回のこちらのビットサミットの開催にあたっても、スポンサーとしてもですが、また同じミッションを持ったパートナーとして、素晴らしいアドバイスとご協力をいただき、このような形でビットサミットを開催することが可能になりました。ではご紹介いたします。ベヒーモスの、ファウンダー兼プロデューサージョン・バエズさんです。ジョンさんお願いします。
So where's Ian going to sit? Can he sit?
Do you want this on your lap?
Does that work? Here. Okay. Yeah. The man behind. Yeah. Okay. This looks pretty risky. Okay. Okay. Ohayou gozaimasu. Hello and welcome to BitSummit. Today I'd like to travel a little bit away from the ordinary developer talk and show you some of the things that have guided the Behemoth and inspired us over the last 11 years that the Behemoth has existed. Hopefully you will find some nuggets of information that will be useful to you as you build your games and your company. Okay. This is a Japanese quartz watch from the 1970s. It was this watch and many like them that nearly destroyed the Swiss watch manufacturing industry in the 1970s. Japanese manufacturers coupled lower labor costs with new technology and processes that greatly reduced the cost of watch manufacturing. During the same time period, the Swiss watch manufacturing industry began to concentrate on high-end luxury watches as their low-end market share evaporated. Eventually, even concentrating on a specific niche market was not enough to keep some manufacturers alive, and they began to go out of business. At this time, an engineer named Nicholas Hayek began the turnaround of the Swiss watch manufacturing industry. The basis of this turnaround was not to outsource the manufacturing to a country of lower manufacturing cost, but rather to find solutions to keep the Swiss watch manufacturing industry designed and manufactured in Switzerland. To revive a manufacturing industry, he completely transformed the idea of what a Swiss watch had become. It was a niche industry producing 98% of all watches valued at over $400 and producing nearly 0% of all other market segments. His solution was to build a technologically advanced watch that can compete with Japanese watches while still being manufactured in Switzerland. He did this by directly attacking the low-end watch category, where over 450 million watches were being manufactured per year, but none were Swiss. Hayek made a cost-effective watch, but he differentiated it in the ocean of inexpensive watches by making it an object of emotion. His principles were to create collectible watches designed by renowned artists and graphic designers in limited editions and with low purchase cost, so everyone could have affordable art on their wrists. While marketing was important, word of mouth created just as much buzz about the watches as paid magazine ads. The importance of Hayek's work as it applies to the game industry is not that he turned around the Swatch watch industry in Switzerland, although that is massively inspiring by itself. Rather, his importance lies in the process that he used. We learned from his method and applied those business principles as we built our company. You can see many of his principles at work every day at the Behemoth. We create all of our own intellectual property to in-house and never work on licensed products. We create games that are fun to play and beautiful to look at. We know the market for hand-drawn computer games is small, but we concentrate on reaching any gamers that are interested in our types of games by attending many trade shows throughout the year, and we staff those trade shows with our developers, and we do not outsource this work with the community to a marketing firm. The other lesson that we learned from Hayek is that you can be a successful company if you are vertically integrated. In his words, we are vertically integrated because it is the only way to maintain our strategic independence and freedom to maneuver in the market. For the game industry, this means doing everything from developing to marketing and publishing. This eliminates all middlemen so that we only deal directly with the owners of proprietary distribution networks, such as Sony PlayStation Network, Microsoft Xbox Marketplace, and Valve's Steam Network. At the Behemoth, this translates into a philosophy of making things versus the standard business philosophy of selling things. We do all the development, marketing, publishing, QA, toy design, and manufacturing in-house. The only things we regularly outsource is our translation and localization work. A publisher will make more money for themselves if they only allow a developer to develop and not allow the developer to be involved in any other of the facets of the game-making process. However, with digital distribution, there is no need whatsoever for publishers. Developers can do it all. You just need a little will and the desire to do it. So what other lessons did the Behemoth learn from looking at the Hayek Swatch model? Probably the biggest takeaway for us is that it is more important for us to look for inspiration outside of the game industry. We always had the gut feeling that the traditional business models in our industry were not appropriate. These were not appropriate for us because they are trying to sell things, not make things. The Behemoth focuses on keeping a publisher on. The Behemoth focuses on not keeping a publisher happy, but on connecting directly with gamers who play our games. We enjoy, yeah, exactly. We enjoy being niche because it's a place where we can stand out. We enjoy creating small batches of toys based on the characters in our games because we like them sitting on our desks at work, and we think our fans would like them too. We go to trade shows because as developers, we like to interact with our fans and get their opinions about how our games should feel. Following our instincts has led us down very different roads when compared to a traditional publisher-backed game developer. Not having to get permission for anything has led us to a number of firsts in the game industry. Though we don't have a marketing company to keep these achievements in the news. The Behemoth was the first self-funded independent developer to release a 2D game based on new IP for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Alien Hominid was the first console game to win an IGF award at GDC, spawning all types of controversy. We were the first developer to publish an entire disc-based game on Microsoft XBLA back when the download limit size was 50 megs. We were the first developer or publisher to send real physical trophies out to high score winners. From the leaderboards, and no one has ever done this, just us. We pioneered the use of trade shows as a development tool for independent developers, not only as a marketing resource. Castle Crashers has become the first 1,200-point title to sell 1 million units on XBLA. And finally, the Behemoth is the first independent developer to loan other indies development funding rather than providing funding for a cut of royalties. So in closing, I'd like to say, remember to believe in yourself. If you are working in a genre that has been worked over and over and over, make sure your game is not a copycat game, and make sure you bring something new to the table. That pretty much wraps up everything I'd like to say here today. So let's start Q&A.